Jennifer's sobbing stopped instantly as she fumbled under her blue dress and pulled down the soaked pull-up. Stepping out of it gingerly, she handed it to Molly. Molly didn't take it though. "I'm not actually putting that back on me. That's disgusting, but turn round." She stared at Jennifer and Sarah as they suddenly understood she was ordering them to avert their gaze. Once the two had looked away, Molly pulled her own dry pull-up down and pulled her overalls back on to hide the fact she wore no pants. She didn't do up the buckles on the straps as she would be in getting into her new footed sleeper in a minute. "Okay, you can turn back around now." The two girls did, and Molly handed Jennifer the dry pull-up. Jennifer smiled through her wet blotchy face. "Thanks Moles, you're the best." Jennifer handed Molly the wet one again so that she could use both hands to pull the dry one on. Molly took it, holding it out as if it was contaminated. "Ew," she giggled, making Jennifer blush as she pulled the dry one up between her legs and out of view under the blue dress she wore. The bedroom door suddenly swung open. "I'm just making sure you girls are getting ready for bed." The whole room froze, and for once Molly wished it had been because she had pressed her reality-altering device. Sadly, it was through shock. Jennifer's mom surveyed what lay before her for a few moments. She saw Molly holding the wet pull-up, her overalls unbuckled. "What's going on?" she asked as she crossed the room and held out her hands towards Molly, inditing to the teenager that she wanted the wet pull-up. Molly gladly released it into her hands. It was then that she felt the hot trickle between her legs. "Oh no no no." Molly moaned as she grabbed at her crotch, a large dark patch staining the front of her childish overalls. Jennifer's mom simply tutted in mild annoyance. "Molly, it's okay if you have an accident." She held out the wet pull-up. "But you can't just take them off by yourself and not put on a fresh one, or that happens." She pointed to the expanding wet patch and the mess Molly was in the midst of making. Molly was mortified as her bladder emptied. But, Molly stammered, but Jennifer's mom cut her off. "No buts, young lady. Downstairs now so I can clean you up. I promised your mom you could stay the night and she assured me you'd be well behaved. Don't go proving her wrong, kiddo, okay?" Molly simply nodded. She didn't want to get Jennifer in trouble, and telling the truth about the owner of the wet pull-up probably wouldn't do Molly any good now that she had wet herself in front of everyone. Poor timing, to say the least. Molly took a quick glance backwards as she was frog-marched out of the bedroom in her wet overalls and down the stairs. She saw Jennifer looking back, wide-eyed but her expression full of gratitude for Molly's sacrifice. Molly was quickly stripped and wiped clean, then helped into a clean pull-up. She felt embarrassed, but at the end of it, Jennifer's mom pulled her into a tight hug. "It'll be all right. I didn't mean to snap at you, but potty training is tricky and you shouldn't take unnecessary risks, okay? I don't want to catch you doing that again, or I'll take drastic action and put you back into diapers for the night." Molly shied away from the idea. That would be a little too embarrassing, especially in front of Sarah and Jennifer. "I'll be good, Mrs. Tamworth. I promise," Molly said sincerely. Jennifer's mom smiled. "Good girl, now get to bed." Molly scrambled up the stairs in just her t-shirt and pull-up, having left her pajamas back in Jennifer's room. Jenny and Sarah were already in their footed sleepers. Jennifer was in her bed and Sarah was laying on top of her starry-patterned sleeping bag on the floor. Molly noticed that her own sleeping bag was a Blue's Clues one. That cheered her up a little. She picked up her footed sleeper and stepped into it, pulling it up to her waist. "Thanks for covering for me, Moles. I really owe you." Jennifer mumbled gratefully. Molly shrugged and grinned at her friend. "That's what friends do, right?" Jennifer nodded in appreciation. "Yeah, it's gonna be so cool when the three of us finally graduate in a week from high school and go to college. We'll look out for each other through thick and thin, huh?"